Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try to run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you to today's edition of the Afridamus Report. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and also please share this video. Make sure it reaches everyone. So, people, today, this topic here is called the BlackToubabNews. And I'm sure you've seen the negropian there. And I said BlackToubab. Some people are going to be like, why? Because if you translate his name, the negropian, into our language, it would be, you know, the BlackToubab. That's what that stands for. But today I want to break things down. You know, I want to break it down to a psychological, you know, level, social level. Because, you know, too many people travel to African nations like Gambia. It's not only just the black people, even Europeans. You know, being somebody that also lived in the, spend most of my life, part of my life in the Western, culture, I understand how Westerners deal and interact with each other. I'm able to see what is fake and what is real. Just like it is in the Gambia. If I'm able to figure this out, in about Western nation, imagine what about the place where I was born. So this topic here, for some it is a sensitive topic, but you guys know what I believe in. I believe in nothing but the truth. The truth shall set you free. That's what I believe in. You see, I hold myself accountable for my actions, for the things I say, the things I observe. I've always done this. Accountability is what is expected of a responsible, mature adult. And you see, when I was a child, I spake as a child, but as an adult, I'm speaking as an adult. This is a biblical quote, by the way. I didn't say it verbatim. But it is funny. It is always funny when I see, Westerners. Sometimes it will be white people or white person, or now you have the reparts who would try to play this role, to create this glossy fantasy world about the places they visit. They meet people, the people smile, they also pretend and smile, because you see, both parties have written a script for one another. It's like a role that most people play. The honest truth is, most Gambians are pretty fake. They are really, really good actors. So this video that I'm about to analyze, that the negropian attempted to speak about, which he spoke about his Jamaican background, he should be very familiar with what MC Cham, whom he speaks of. MC Cham is a British Gambian. He's a British, but his parents are from the Gambia. He was born and raised in England. So that being said, him sharing his perspective, his observation. You see in Africa, especially in the Gambia, what this man shared, right? There are many Gambians that I know who see and notice. They even share it in secrecy, but they can't say it out loud because they are cowards. I have seen some even, they support this toxicity that MC was talking about because they themselves now, because they are adults, they want to continue to practice it. But I take a responsibility upon myself. From the time I was a child, I looked at how things are. I know that I have an obligation. I have an obligation to the future generation to change and never walk in that footstep, even if it means the entire society going against my views. You see? But that's never the truth in any society. See, when one speaks the truth, only a hit dog would holler. When someone says most people, most, that doesn't mean it's everyone. And in that society, just like most black society, they like to use emotional blackmail. When you speak of the truth, they're if it's Black America, they will say, your mama black. If it's Gambian society, some Gambian would write, they would say, oh, but you're Gambian too, but your mama. What about your mama? So that's called conditioning, social conditioning. Yes. They are, under a comment section trying to condemn a person, trying to condemn what is written there. But in fact, they are there justifying it, proving the person's point. So you are telling me, okay, if it's your mama involved, your mom can never be wrong. Your mom can never be toxic. You know why most of these people go straight to, oh, your mom? Because the moms majority are the toxic ones in the Gambian society. Let's just be real. The women are generally very toxic. They raise their children, to be their personal slaves. It's the mindset. The mindset, is based in poverty, begging. This is why you see so many of those people smiling and laughing. If you sit and analyze how things are working in a society from a psychological point of view, look, people, don't just wake up every day and allow life to happen to you. You have a brain, mind, eyes to study and understand what you're seeing. Do not ask what other people should be doing for you. What are you doing to add on to this life? What are you doing to improve? So, if you look around in a society, you travel around the world from one society to another. If you have common sense, you should be able to recognize what makes people prosperous or what doesn't. And it is definitely okay when you know better to do better. It is okay to admit. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's your father, your mother. It is okay to admit that, their mindset is wrong. It doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you go against it. You improve on it. This is what many lacks. And in that mindset, it develops this resentment, the hate. You people that go to the Gambia, you think those smiles that you see is real? If you notice it, most of the people that smile to you, They smile and eventually they bait you into begging you. This is the honest truth. This is the God honest truth. You have people who just produce children. They can't afford these kids. Imagine finding yourself in a predicament like that. A child, you gave birth to these children, hoping, hey, they would become my, retirement plan. But okay, fine. If that's your goal, I would play the devil's advocate and say, okay, go for it. But don't you think you should also invest in those children, teach them how to make it in life? But you've had all this time to live on earth and you can't even achieve these things for yourself. You don't have the ambition. You don't know how to achieve it, but you brought children into the world. You want them to bring you all these dreams. This is what the plan is. So when you look at some societies, you look at a society, they have great natural resources, the water, the landscape, ample sunshine. Anything can grow. This is like having hands, legs, and eyes, or having eyes and still can see. Okay? Having legs, but you're crawling, you're refusing to walk because you want someone to come and, feel sorry for you and pick you up. See, when I was a child growing up back then, they didn't have cell phones. They did not have cell phones. Have you ever thought about how did people communicate easily with one another in places like Gambia? I'll speak on that. The children were the text messages. Yes, say, Afridamus, what do you mean by the kids were the text messages? Imagine how hot that Gambian sun is in the middle of the day. Sometimes some of these quote-unquote adults or parents, the way they treat their children, they have zero disregard for them. It is all about, look, you've heard some people say, oh, you're my child. I brought you in this world and I'll take you out. They see their children as their personal property, not as a separate entity. Many do not have the maturity to be able to separate that. Mind you, the children didn't ask to be born. I'm able to speak on this matter because guess what? I'm an adult now. I have raised life. I don't expect anything in return. Okay? So you don't even have to say to me, oh, what about parents such and such? Just say, hey, what about, would you ask this from your child? So I've always been against this. I've observed it. I've seen it. And you that is watching me, if you're familiar with it, you have seen it too. Unless if you don't have the backbone to stand on the truth. Unless you are someone who want to continue to propagate this, to delude yourself into, brainwashing your children to try to turn them into a retirement plan. At the end of the day, we have to address these things. It is nothing against anyone. Nobody is saying you're less than. But you see what people, if you want people to talk about things, you have to do it. You have to do it. You cannot hide behind fake smiles forever. You cannot use a system that is not getting you anywhere. You can't continue to produce. Like I had a guy one time, he calls me on WhatsApp, right? And he says to me, like I knew him, like he texts me. He was like, hey, I have a baby, blah, blah. I was like, congratulations to you. So the next day, he hits me up again from, he's in Gambia, hits me up again. He's like, oh man, I have a baby. I told you about it. I was like, dude, I did congratulate you. What do you want? Mind you, I have lived my life as a child watching this. I'm telling you, I have always been defiant against this. I have seen where adults, very abusive adults. So I have always been a fighter. I do not care about the type of, emotional blackmail they try to use to say, oh, I'm older than you or I'm such and such. I could care less about that. I care about fairness, the golden rule, you know, do unto others as you would like others to do unto you. But all that deception, lies, I would call it out. And I have always called it out. People have always called me a problem. But why do they call me a problem? Because I don't want to be anyone's personal slave. I don't want you to use me like your personal text message, sending me in between adults to go deliver messages. I don't roll like that. Like, there is several categories of Gambians, and I would break all that down for you to the teeth, and you would understand where I totally understood what that MC was saying. Because you see, like I said, these Gambian parents, they count on their children growing up just to pretend that they were the best parents ever. There's no beef, when deep down there's a lot of resentments. This Many Gambians, they don't even get along. Look at it, a small country. Why can the country develop? Why can they move it forward? Ask yourself that question. Because the country is run like compounds. And I will tell you the dynamics of those compounds. How the hatred developed and it spilled straight into the political scene. So for those of you who don't even understand the psychology, you don't understand the language, you just see the people smile and you just go right along. But this guy, before I forget, the guy says to me, again, he hits me up on the telephone. This time he's bold. He's like, I told you about my wife, blah, blah, having a baby. I was like, hey, what's this have to do with me? I said, when you were having sex with your wife, did you consult with me? Did you ask me? Did you share this pleasure with me? I said, please do not call me again over this. I am not responsible for your child. It's like this, like you literally, just because we knew each other, we're friends now, all of a sudden, I gotta pay for friendship. And it's the same way with the families too. If you don't have money, they're not gonna love you. It's the truth. They will not love you. They will not show you love. They will not respect you. It's the God honest truth. This is why many are brainwashed. They want to buy the love of those wicked people, because that's what I call it. Your child is not your personal slave. You brought that child into the world. Oh, I fed you. Yes, you are supposed to do that. What, you want a medal for that? You want a payment for that? You created that child. You would see some of this. I've seen it even here in the diaspora. I've visited some houses. One time I saw this woman. It was a very disgusting move. I'm sitting there watching. She's like right here, sitting there. And the remote was right there, close to the table. She just got to reach, get up a little bit and reach and get it. I watched this woman. She called her child, who was all the way in the kitchen. She called him to come over and say, get me the remote. Guys, come on now. You want to tell me that's not narcissism? You want to tell me that's not crazy? That's toxic. That's very toxic. So this is what I think MC's experience have been. Imagine, maybe in the Gambia there, open field, the kid can just go play, disappear, right? But he grew up in the West. The children that grow up in the West, they are trapped. Let's say if their parent have this mentality, I don't want people to think it's everyone. Obviously, I don't even need to put a disclaimer for people to understand that. But you know this is true. You've seen it. You've seen it with your own eyes. And they would say things like, it's, it would make the kid bless. Oh, you mean you abusing your child? You mean you lazy individual? You can do these things for yourself? But they lie to their children and say, this is going to bless you. When in fact, it's just trying, using your child. I remember one time I used to play with this little boy. I would go over to their house. I went over like one, because there's like some of these Gambians who maybe they would think they are like, high class. Because I'm telling you, there's Gambians, the moment they get like little position, little money, they are pompous. They treat the other Gambians like shit. So all these smiles you guys are seeing is not real. It's fake. It is fake for many. Have you ever asked yourself, why are so many? It's like you see other people who are so depressed, but their neighbors, they got big houses and rich. Because those neighbors, they look down on those people. So if their child and is playing with this other child, they would clearly, they want to enforce a class system on you, especially if it's a child. But see, like I said, I am cut from a different cloth, because you see, the background I'm coming from, I grew up with having freedom of speech. I was taught differently. I do not go to, if I don't know you well, I don't, like you can't just see me and try to use me like the other kids and just say, hey, come here, I'm going to send you to the store. That's what they do. They don't even have to know you. Somebody's kid, they can just call you up and be like, oh, go to the store. Go buy me cigarette or alcohol. This is real. I'm not making this up. But you see, people are going to be mad. People are not going to want to hear this because now you're putting the mirror right in front of them. They will be in denial 100% all the way. But then you ask, okay, why is there so many corruption? How come things cannot work? What is the work ethic of the people? What is the moral standard they base things off of? You see, you're not asking those questions. Look, things don't just happen just because. People's action make it happen. How do those people think? How do they solve problems? Are these people really united? Are they as nice as they try to present? Why does the Lebanese restaurants or the Indian restaurants serve better food? Why is their service better? Why is their customer service much better? Or why is it when they hire Gambian and they're trained by the Lebanese, when they're the Lebanese employee, they are much nicer employee. But you can find that same Gambian doing their own business or working for a Gambian, and they are not nice people. You are the customer. So it is beyond just, to be able to serve people, you have to be able to humble yourself. That's the truth. If you're not a humble human being, every leader you see was once a follower. You have to be able to follow to eventually lead. Okay? You have to serve people if you want to be served. This is the God honest truth. But in that country, everyone wants to be served, but they don't want to serve you back. And it comes from the mindset. Those who want to serve cannot exist there. Those who want to base it on honesty cannot exist. That's the God honest truth. Poverty is a mindset. It's not what you see around you. See, at one time, like when I was growing up, I never really, compared to some people, they might be like, oh, you were broke, but I never saw myself as ever being broke because everything I needed, I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I had lunch money to go to school, tuition for books. So all my basic needs I was able to have. But I've seen people who, same situation, or they probably have a lot more cash than probably we do. But how come they couldn't afford that? It's not God, but I see how they live their lives. I see, like they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. That is very common there. So this toxicity, for many, it follows them. It is a mindset. They are not willing to change. They are not willing to evolve. That's why we are here today. So MC Cham, like I said, wrote this post in his community section. So the question, he said, Gambians should not even procreate. I don't want to ruin it for you. We would allow the negropian, aka BlackToubab, to get on with it. But what even brought this to my attention, as usual, he's trying to play slick. Because, sometimes many of these Westerners, both black and white, it's funny how Western people, you guys make me laugh. They create these fantasies and they truly, truly, think, yeah, no, we can really do this. The things that are common sense in the West, things they will not ever do. But they would go to places like Gambia and think, oh no, surely, they're going to do this. This person I'm meeting, he is truly showing me Gambian culture. When, like I said, the Westerner that is coming is writing a script that they want to see. The person they are meeting knows this, and they also got a script to fit along that. But that's deception, right? But you know who you cannot deceive? Those who are from the soil, those who are born and raised there. You can deceive them. Somebody like me. The truth is painful, but we have to speak it. So let me bring the negropian's video and we'll let him speak and I'll analyze it as we go. Let me do my disclaimer here. Here we go. All right. So we have someone said, Fatim Jas. She said, that's not true, Afridamus. Most Gambians have a humble, sharing nature that mitigates the poverty. No one is homeless everywhere. Because people have compounds. Hello. But there are many homelesses. Look, this is what I'm talking about. There's some who are going to come and try to paint this, glorified picture, and no one is saying it's everyone. But again, the people, you can brainwash your own kids in Gambia. Yeah, they will be quiet. Only few would probably express it. But in the West, you came to the West and now you say you want to be like the Toubabs. You see, the Toubabs, they believe in freedom of expression. They believe that when you see something, you observe it, they speak on it. So you see the schools that you're sending your kids to, they meet other kids there and they discuss and they see things. And pretty soon they realize, look, you're not treating them right. They're going to see it and they will call it out. I know many of you will be in denial, but what does that tell you? That just proves the point he is making. because a narcissist would never want to change. Oh, how dare, I'm such a good mother because I'm abusing my child. Like I said, I went to go play with this little boy. Hot sunny day in the Gambia. We're playing at their house. His mom comes and says to me, she wants to send me to go to the market to buy her something. And I said to her, so I was like, oh, he's coming with me. She said, oh, no, he can't come because the sun is too hot. I was like, oh, so your son is more important than me, so I don't feel. Are you saying the sun isn't too hot for me? I was like, I'm not doing that. But sometimes I would see this. I used to see it. That's how I was able to counter it. There are some of the little boys who, for whatever reason, they believe, this is normal for them to be treated this way because maybe they're in their home, they were treated less than. They are treated less than, so their confidence is completely taken away. So people abuse them out there. Some of these people don't understand. While they are setting their kid up to mentally submit to them, they are mentally damaging the kid in his or her future life, plain and simple. So straight, I didn't even think twice. I was like, no, I'm not going. So I've never, like I was the guy, they used to be like, man, this kid he's different. You have to be different. If not, these people would abuse you. They would abuse you however way possible. I have seen it. I've learned it. I watched. I've seen how vicious some of these people are. I've seen it. So I don't want to keep you waiting. Let's bring in the negropian, aka BlackToubab. Here we go.
Another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, I've just come back from seeing my mother, and it was really nice to see her. We sat down, we went through all the old photographs of me and my father, God rest his soul, and all the family when they were younger, my uncles, my aunts, and we started going through the old photographs of me in Jamaica, getting up to no good, and just enjoying life. And it made me think, wow, how proud I am of being Jamaican. A lot of people might ask, what are you talking about? What have you got to be proud of? But you got to remember, Jamaica is the second strongest out of all the African diasporan ethnicities. Everybody knows us, even though we count less than 6 million, period. That's including the diaspora. There aren't a lot of us, but we managed to pack quite a punch. And I do feel kind of proud about that. There are a lot of things that I dislike about us. A lot of things.
So he's going to give us a spiel about his background, right? Nice start. So, because he's got the same background as MC Cham, he's of Jamaican descent. His parents are Jamaicans. He was born in the UK. MC Cham's parents are Gambians. He was born in the UK too. So similar backgrounds. So he said he's proud of being Jamaican, but there are things he doesn't like about Jamaicans, right? But see, I'm not speaking in terms of what I like or don't like. That's not what I'm speaking in terms of. I am speaking about reality, facts. You see, one thing about me, I don't operate in those terms, like whether I like things or not. No, what is presented in front of me, that's what I go by. What you show me, over and over, that's what I go by. If you like, why would I deny who you are, your nature? Why would I deny it? And then once I understand that, then I have to make the assessment if what you believe in culturally, how you do business, how you run your life, if this is in line with how I do things. Is this beneficial to me? Is this a hindrance to my life? That's how I assess things. It's not based in if I like what this person does or not. you know, just to make it simple. But, some people explain it in terms of likes or dislikes. That's okay with me too.
I always kind of find it funny when I meet people that say, "Oh yeah, where are you from?" And I say, "I'm from Jamaica," and they say, "Oh yeah, I've been to Jamaica. Lovely people, so nice, so great, so pleasant." Every time
Yeah, he said they are the second strongest. I guess he's talking about in entertainment, probably. But I don't know what else.
I listen to people speak like that, I'm asking myself, who have you met? We're not like that. Jamaicans are the opposite of placid. The antithesis of nice. Jamaicans, we take it a step further. We aren't nice to pretty much anyone. So that's why I always laugh when I hear people speaking like that. I'm like, no, we're not. We're not like that. Jamaicans can be horrible. There is a joke going around about going into a Jamaican restaurant. If you go into...
So you see, he's acknowledging that Jamaicans can be some of the most horrible people. Does that mean that's every Jamaican? Absolutely not. So it's no different than wherever you go. And in fact, this very behavior that's about to be explained here, I've seen this even here in America. That's why I think some of those blacks I see that live by this, they don't even need to do a DNA test. I think we know where they came from. There are some that live by this rule too. So we know where they come from.
To a Jamaican restaurant and you say hello and the person says hello back, how are you? Here, I'll come and seat you at your table. Walk out the restaurant. The food is going to be trash because no real Jamaican is going to greet you in that way. It's a funny joke. It is a funny joke, but there is something about it which we need to look at seriously because us Jamaicans, we just don't know how to be, nice to one another. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay, there are times when we can be amiable to one another, but those times are few and far between. And I can say that because I love our people. I can say that. I can be harsh against our people. I can be. I have that privilege to talk about our people in this way, simply because I am of Jamaican heritage and I love my people dearly. Now, the other day I was scrolling through my YouTube profile and I stumbled on a community post posted by a channel that I follow that is ran by a young guy, a teenager from the UK.
MC Cham is not a teenager, by the way. I think he's like 24 or 25 years old. He just looks young.
By the name of MC Cham. And this guy said something. He had a statement that he put out about Gambian people. He is a young person of Gambian descent, still a teenager, but he had some really scathing words to say about his own people.
He's not a teenager, just to clear it. But he set it up well. So clearly, his background is Gambian, right? So that means he has the expert knowledge of what he's about to say here, what he's observed. You notice he said that, okay, Jamaicans, right? Like he loves Jamaicans, but there are things he doesn't like whatsoever. But that doesn't mean he doesn't love or like them. The same rule applies here. When you speak the truth, that doesn't mean you do not love those people. In fact, speaking the truth proves that you love those people. That's why you're speaking the truth. Sometimes it can come out in different way and sound differently to some people. I get that. But you have to still just focus on what the main message is here. What is the main message? Forget about what you don't like, how it sounded. That is just your own interpretation. But it's easy for people to just distract themselves because that means they have to face this reality, but they do not. If you look at it, I notice this is like across the board. It's like an African thing. I would check out some African channels, sometimes, especially Nigerian. I would hear the same thing, the same exact thing. But, I guess the Nigerian ones are a lot more aggressive. I don't know if I could really say this because I've seen these Gambian mothers, seriously, like they would yell and just belittle their son. I've seen this. So I guess it is based on individual. Not all. Let me make that clear. Because some of you like to run with the idea to say, he said all. No, not all. By all means, it cannot be all. But there's a whole lot that act this way.
I'm going to read this verbatim, so there isn't any confusion. Dear Gambian people, damn near all of you are a bunch of narcissistic, toxic, selfish, controlling, possessive psychopaths with your toxic, disgusting mindset. It would be ideal for people like you to never reproduce, especially when you cannot afford children. But we all know you'll do it anyway, because, once again, damn near all of you are a bunch of narcissistic, toxic, selfish, disgusting, controlling, possessive psychopaths. Wow. I don't even know what to say about that. But I'm gonna read on, actually, because there were a lot of people that made comments about this, and he did reply. He replies to all of his comments. So Laura Jones wrote a comment saying, wow, that's a really great insight. And he replies, it's true. I'm not biased. They're narcissistic. Screw them. Okay. And then he replies again to another comment. Yep, I'm not afraid to call out the people I descend from. They deserve it. I'm always unbiased. It gets worse, guys. It gets really, really much worse. So he goes on to say, I get your point. I want to clarify that I mentioned Gambians to not reproduce because they're evil, disgusting people. I'd say if you can't afford yourself, don't have children if you can't even afford them. Madam, Gambians are narcissists. They have children to use them as their own personal slaves. Wow. He really, really goes to town on them. After I read all that.
So I can see how some people, they would right away, oh, yeah, he said all. Well, if what he's saying, if you don't plan on, reproducing children, xeroxing yourself into this world just for the hell of it, because other people told you to, but you can't afford them, then maybe sure. I agree with him when he says, don't bring children in if you can't afford them. But to say all of them like to say they shouldn't reproduce, and I understand maybe that's from a place of being angry. I would think he doesn't mean all, but you have to understand where he's coming from. Some of you, especially in the diaspora, those of you that are watching me, you lack the self-consciousness to respect, your child. Like it's not even a child, a grown person. They are grown. Just because you gave birth to them doesn't mean you have to treat them like children, or try to treat them like your personal slave. Like he's saying, this is not been my personal experience, to be honest, but I have seen it. Okay? I have seen it. I have even had other family members who believe in this type of mindset who, I've seen them do this, and these are some of the people you don't even want to be around. But also, they have brainwashed the children so much. None of them can express this like MC Cham is doing in his post. And I think it's high time for Gambians to take this into account and understand your child is not your personal property. Just because you're raising the child, reminding them I paid for X, Y, and Z, that's what you are supposed to do. This is why in the West, you notice, if you have a child and you don't take care of them, they will put child support on you because you owe that to the child. It's not the other way around. Not the other way around. The child doesn't owe you anything. If you treat that child right, you set them up in a better position. Trust me, you don't even have to ask for anything. It's a natural thing. Children want to eventually grow up and make their parents proud, you know, and they would do it voluntarily. Voluntarily, you don't have to be greedy, you don't have to treat them worst. I was, like some of the things I have observed, even in my visit, I don't even want to mention those here because it's just, I don't know. It's just weird to, like you're seeing it, this is messed up, but you have to pretend like you're not really seeing it. And that happens here, right? So let me play the negropian Black Tubab, what he said. I made a comment here, and I'm going to read what his comment was back to me. Let's see if this guy really even means what he's saying, or what his mindset also is.
That I thought to myself, I'm going to have to speak to MC Cham. So I sent him an email, and I haven't.
And guys, please make sure you hit the like button. It's free. If you're not going to hit the super chat, hit the like button. It's free. Okay? Because that brings in more people. It just takes 1 second. 1 second. I see you enjoying this show. So please just make sure you hit the like so that we can bring all those other people over here, so they can listen. It doesn't mean we're over here beating people down, but we want to enlighten people and open their eyes. Realize, yeah, that toxicity back there. Now you brought it to the West. Your kids are bringing this out into the World Wide Web. So that's something to think about. And, try to be nice because they're telling you. Try to be a better human being. Work hard. Like you want your kid to bring to you things that you've been on this planet. You've been in this planet 50 years. You weren't even ambitious enough to do it for you. And some of these people, what do? They practice polygamy. They have these compounds. Like when I see some of these Western people, you see back in the days, these large compounds, communal living, is needed. People live together in harmony in the villages. Eventually people disperse. But you see, I noticed growing up, for me, luckily, see, my mom had 7 of us. 7 of us. So even though my father had another wife, but she reside in another country. So I never really truly lived under the, typical polygamous compound where you have the other woman and her children, your mom and her children, and the hatred foments. Okay? So many of these people, many of my fellow countrymen, they came from that background. So the way I look at it is, how I look at communal compound is, it's a big company, large company. So you, the child, whatever, the father is the CEO. He brought all of you together, right? So you are there. If this place, you're working, you're in this company, some of the members of the company, meaning your brothers, cousins, everybody, they're living together. It's not the best living. Most of these people, there's a lot of bickerings, a lot of hatreds among them. You see? So if a person lives that type of life, back to back, you got to pretend nonstop. It becomes a part of who you are. And pretty soon, you can't help it because you've been beaten down so much. You can't stay away from that company. So eventually, some people become smarter. When they make it, it's like leaving the hood. They leave that company, the company. You've outgrown that company. Now you want to create your own company, meaning your own compound. And then pretty soon you would see some of those people from the old company, meaning AKA your brothers or whoever. So these people will be like, man, come on, come back to the company, come back. Why would I come back to a company I left? I know what that company is like. I love you, but I love you from a distance. Now I am creating my own company. I know what is in that company. You see? So at the end of the day, where does this stem from? From the poverty mindset. Poverty is in the mind, people. All these other physical things they look at, that's not what is holding people back. It's all in the mind. For example, you take the lion and the elephant. Why do you think the lion is the king of the jungle? It's because of the lion's mindset, the attitude. When the lion sees an elephant, the lion doesn't care if the elephant doesn't care about the elephant's size whatsoever. No, it just sees lunch, and the elephant sees itself as lunch. But in reality, the elephant is so much bigger than the lion, stronger, and even smarter. Did you know this? But because the elephant have been conditioned to see itself as lunch, and the lion sees, because of the attitude, sees the elephant as a meal, and the lion acts on that. Every single time they come across, the lion acts on that. So that's what's happened to many Gambians, you see. They think Sky Daddy is going to save them from this quote unquote poverty, but they don't know it's all in their mind. It is created. They have to free themselves. They have to free themselves from the mental conditioning. You see, many Gambians, they're not only suffering from the religious conditioning. Imagine a child being conditioned to become the personal slave of their parent. That is very hard. But you cannot blame that parent also. Who taught that parent to think that way? You have to think about that as well, right? So it's generational. So somebody has to break that generational curse. I know many of you don't like the term I'm using here, but if you truly sit back and analyze and think about the conditions of the place, why is it the way it is? I just gave you an answer. All this stem from MC Cham's post. Okay? Yeah, some are going to be upset. I get that. But if you don't plan on using your child as a slave, if you cannot afford a child and you're not planning on just forcing one and bringing the child and saying other people got to take care of the child, then he's not talking about you. If you want to be a responsible adult, you don't want to do all these things, then I guess he's not talking about you.
Asked him yet, actually, if I'm able to read out everything here. But he is unbiased and he's pretty open. So I'm going to make the assumption that he's going to be okay with me reading out some of his emails. Because actually what he puts in his emails is just a more detailed view of his views on Gambians and on Gambian society in general. I don't even know what I'm going to make this video about, because at the end of the day, I'm not even sure. I cannot turn around to him and say that he's wrong. I'm not Gambian, right? I don't know Gambians that well enough, or have lived with Gambians, or have been infused in their culture, and I haven't even lived in the Gambia before. So how can I say this?
So have you guys noticed he said all this to pretend like, oh yeah, I've never lived in Gambia. But now here I come in, right? I respond here. I'm a real Gambian. I say here, let's see, what did I say? Give me a moment. So I said MC Cham is right on point. And this same negropian comes back. He said, you do realize that he's talking about members of your family. You are not immune because you happen to live in America. Do you guys see how hypocritical this man is? So I respond, I said, facts over illusion. I said, immune. So I should just distort the truth because I'm from there. So this guy he clearly doesn't want, he's not here to look for the truth. That's not what he's interested in. Maybe he's just interested in drama. He's like, yeah, I've never lived in Gambia. But here's a Gambian telling you straight up, yeah, what he's saying, is true. And I'm not saying that's all, but it's true. But he comes back, oh, he's talking about members of your family. I'm sure there are some people in my family who thinks this way. I'm pretty sure. But does that mean I still don't have to, point that out? Because I have no plan on living this way. I have no plan allowing anyone to turn me into their personal slave. Just because it's not been my experience doesn't mean I didn't see it. Any Gambian that comes here and tell you that they didn't see what I'm saying here, they're lying to you. Even right now, I talk to people. See, some of them are probably watching. I'm sure you guys are going to hit me up on my WhatsApp. Some of these difficult questions about the cultural thing, the answers, they always hit me up for it because they know I'm unbiased about it. Let me see. MC Cham said hit the newest comment. Okay, let me see what the newest comment says. Give me 1 second. Newest comment. All right. Oh, you're talking. There's a guy here. There are a couple of people that said you were correct, right? So somebody said, I'm here for the Gambia with a dash of Jamaican. Okay. Let's see. There's a comment. I think maybe MC, that's what you're doing. That's what you're telling me. Observing Senegalese and Gambians, I noticed similarities over here in America. Senegambian culture of women's gossip is the norm. Yes, the women are super gossipers. Super gossipers. The guy's right. The gossiping is the norm for the women. They are super nosy. Not all, but majority. They are super nosy, and they would talk bad about you. The majority, they don't seem to have anything good to say about other people, most. So, when someone is like that, you have to know, okay, what that should tell you, how do they see themselves? That's the question. Because how can everyone else be wrong except you? How's that even possible? It is not. Okay, let me play this and I'll pull up most of the comments. Give me a second.
Not say this, but it's one thing hearing this type of thing from Art Cathy. We remember Art Cathy because Art Cathy wasn't Gambian, but to hear it from another Gambian, it really does hit home hard. In today's video, we're going to delve a little deeper into how MC Cham thinks, why he thinks this way. We're going to go through some of the emails that we sort of exchanged with one another. We're going to ask ourselves, is he right, to a certain degree? Is there a large population of Gambians who think and act this way? So we're going to get into it. First, I'm going to ask you, like always, to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting the channel on our Patreon. Link in the description. I'd also like to invite you to come and follow my new family flocking channel, I. We have a video coming out every week, and we talk in general about the nuances of being a mixed-race couple and bringing up mixed-race children in Europe for now. The link is in the description. Follow the link. So before I get into this, I think it's important that we give ourselves a bit of background knowledge on who MC Cham is. So MC Cham, I don't know his personal name. I know he comes from Gambian heritage. He speaks with a British accent. I'm not sure whether he was born in the Gambia and came over to the UK, but he has been in the UK for a significant amount of time. I actually made a video about him because he gave me his views on black people, right? I listen to his lives sometimes, and he gives some really, you know, it's some really deep insight into how people should see and view race. So he thinks that people that are my complexion and his complexion, dark-skinned black people, that we are superior to everybody else. He believes this solely deep down in his heart.
I don't think MC believes that, but I guess the negropian is souping it up.
That people of mixed heritage should have their own classification, that they shouldn't be classed as being black, that they should be classed as being of mixed heritage. And to a certain degree, there is obviously some logic to that, is there not? So that's the kind of guy who he is. He loves black people, and I mean black people. So he loves his, pure, unadulterated version of the black race, those people who are of dark skin kin, okay? So he's not anti-African at all. He loves African people. And this is the part.
Hold on. Before he gets into this, let me read this to you guys, right? This is very funny. Very, very funny. From my comment, just saying, yeah, MC is right. Sure, hey, someone can come. You can have your own observation and give that too. But here's what this guy said. His name is Good Over Evil. He said, you should be ashamed of yourself as you are not a Gambian. This idiot insulted the entire Gambia, and you're here telling us that he's right. Don't forget your parents are included as well, because he didn't say some Gambians. What he said was Gambians. You should condemn him. I don't blame you because you are not sound. So he's proving his point here. This is what Gambian Facebook is all about for the most part. I've tried doing lives there, try to conduct calls. People would jump in. Literally, they would spend their entire time telling me, trying to tell me what I should or shouldn't say, how I should say it, how I shouldn't say it. Like super controlling. Like, hey, if you have the right to your own opinion or to your own facts, if that's just write if you disagree with him, just write that. I have the right to confirm or deny what he's saying. So what should I be ashamed of? What I should be ashamed of is responding to you. That's what I should be ashamed of. But writing facts? No, you got it wrong, buddy.
Confuses me because he loves African people. He doesn't want his people to be diluted in any way, shape, or form. And thus, he doesn't view people of other kin as being, to classify those people as black people. So this guy is really, he's intense, man. He's intense. So that is who MC Cham is. Okay. So before you start thinking, oh, he hates himself, he hates black people. No, he doesn't. He loves black people more.
See, the negropian here, he's just doing a show, right? Not making sense. But I'm glad he did this because a lot of people are also commenting. He opened up the dialogue. And one comment here stood out to me. I don't know if this individual is Gambian or not, but this guy is on point. He said, great show as usual, sir. I have a compound in Gambia, which I bought in 2008. It's an expat community. I am not saying I am an expert on Gambians, but I know quite a bit. I know quite a bit there about their mindset. Firstly, we must remember that the Gambia is predominantly Muslim, but very peaceful country. There are so many similarities with Jamaica in their psyche. But then I recently read that around 1 million Gambians were taken to Jamaica as slaves. The similarities for me are begging, for instance. You guys remember I talked about begging? Gambians like to beg. It's just a part of their culture, for real. The man is not lying. They call Gambia the smiling coast of Africa, but with the large, lovely smiles comes a polite request for money. Jamaicans are like that also, albeit maybe not always so polite. Gambians are very good actors. The man is not lying. The man is not lying. This man really did spend his time to observe. They will pretend to love you and dote on you until you stop giving them money. They see all diasporans as walking ATMs. That's a fact. Be you black Westerner or white one. I remember a Gambian man telling me in Burusubi that most Gambian women will cheat on their husbands for money. Remember, the country is very poor, so it's kind of understandable. In Jamaica, we have a word called licky licky, which means beggy beggy and opportunistic. Many Jamaicans are like that, not genuine in their affections, but play you along to use you. I could go on and on, but even with all that, I love Gambia. I understand. See, the negropian is trying to say, oh, yeah, you know, I'm surprised he's saying this if he loves black people. So he should lie. The man, this person should lie. This is what I don't get about people like him. They bring these topics and then they try to backpedal. They try to look for people they are going to try to scapegoat. Like, how dare you observe the truth? This has been his experience. I mean, why? Unless you're saying he's fabricating it. I didn't see one fabrication. I mean, although he like exaggerated it a bit to say, no, seriously, they should not procreate. Okay, I get that. That I could completely disagree with, right? But most of the things he mentioned, do not have children if you can't take care of them. I'm with him on that, 100%.
More than the average black person. So we're going to go and delve a little deeper into his views. Why does he think this way about his own people, Gambian people? So I sent him an email. I'm going to read this verbatim. I just read your community post about Gambians. Can you please clarify why you would say these things about Gambians specifically? And I'm going to read the email that he sent back. Hey, amigo, I definitely remember you. I didn't know you changed your name. I said what I said about Gambians because it's true. They are indeed narcissistic. Any narcissistic, toxic thing they do, their excuse always starts with, in our culture, blah, blah, blah. Basically, their culture is toxic. A lot of them, especially the women, have children just to use them as personal slaves. They only care about themselves and not the children. The children are just disposables to them. They have an entitled, narcissistic mindset and think their children owe them, even though they are the ones who chose to have the children and those children never asked to be born. Gambians are also major hypocrites. If they're lying about you or something and you call them out for it, they will try to gaslight you for being disrespectful. It's pathetic. They are psychopaths. So guys, that is...
Look, I know for many, they're going to hate hearing that. They would gaslight you. He is 100% correct. They would say, oh man, I'm older than you. Old. Like they would just, play it off and say they are joking. This is true. He is right on point. So because here's the thing, like, imagine if he, like as a kid, if he wasn't in the West, there's no way they would allow him to be able to find the vocabulary to even express what he's expressing. You have to think about it to do it, right? So the truth is, he's expressing what he's seeing. He's expressing what he's seeing. That doesn't mean it's all. It cannot be all, because if it were all, it would be a disaster. complete disaster. But there's significant number that is that believe in this, whose psyche is this way, to a point that is noticeable. It's noticeable. Okay, so and what he's saying about being major hypocrites, yes, you would run into a lot of that. Like I said, you go into even like this silly me, right? Silly me, like doing my streams. I went on the Gambian section, try to do my stream there. Every single thing you say, they'll take it out of context. In fact, they will. I've had some. They came. They tried to attach me to their beefs they have. Apparently, these people that were watching me have beef, major beef against quote unquote people, some people who happen to be from my tribe. So therefore, that means I am the same as those people. This is how most of these people think. That's where you call the tribalism. So now, like for instance, if the person they had the beef with, apparently online, so I happen to come and speak, they realize, oh yeah, this guy, he's from the same tribe. I'm not even thinking tribe. So they would come in, start writing, and they made it a tribal thing. Even the dudes they're talking about, I don't even know who these people are. But somehow it's a tribe thing. That's how myopic many think. How can you get a conversation going with someone who thinks that way? These people that think this way, they cannot see outside of themselves. I think that's what MC is talking about. It's like a child, right? A little child, before a child, children are usually they are super narcissists. And because their worldview, imagine a child, right? The only person they know is their parents. The people they know is not too many people. So it's understandable. Their world is small. This is why a little child, you can see that they've done this experiment. If you take like a ball or something, like a child is sitting there, you're playing with the kid, if you hide it, the kid would be so fascinated by it. It would be right there, but the kid would think it's magic. And you pull it out, they will be excited. That's because their worldview is not vast. But as the child keeps growing, the child goes to school, they start knowing more and more people. They start understanding that they are a separate entity from their parent. They are their own human being. They start making friends. That's what happened to all of us. We start growing, we start realizing we are a separate entity. Yes, we know we were brought in this world by a people, but those people do not own your life. That's the point. So many of these people, they don't understand that. You would see even some of these African parents, for instance. I've seen this across the board. I've heard it. They like to beef with their sons' wives, for example. If their son have a wife, because many of these Gambian mothers, they turn their male children into husband wives. Husband, they become the wife, and like son husbands. So if they have like you would see some of these people, they will be like, it's a slave mentality. They would say, oh, I'm in America or Europe. Why don't you? They would marry a wife so that wife can go work for the mother. You want to tell me that's not some sort of slavish thing? You marry the person just to go be the person, the cleaning lady for your mom. It's a concept. It is a real concept. It's not about love or affection. That's what it's based off of. Oh yeah, let me marry somebody to go work under my mother. That's how they look at it. And I've seen this time and time again.
Super deep. You know, I don't have any answers for MC Cham. I did ask him whether it was something personal, whether he had any personal experience of this, and he hasn't answered me in an email. But I wouldn't be able to read out that email if it was something personal. So either way, it would be interesting to hear, you know, whether his experiences, whether he had problems with his own parents, perhaps, or whether he had seen his friends go through these things. He said the majority of Gambians are like this, so I'm not even sure whether it is something personal. It sounds like it's something that he sees or has seen all the time, being a person of Gambian heritage, having Gambian family, Gambian friends. You know, I think it is something that he views as, like me, in the same way I look at Jamaicans. It's very annoying and totally unnecessary for us to be this way. However, we are this way. Things need to change. Okay, it's not about, oh yeah, okay then, oh let's go to a Jamaican restaurant. Oh, they're going to be nasty. Oh, they're not going to say hello. Oh, they're not pleasant. They're not amiable. They're not nice. You know, you don't get a nice feeling when you go to a place like that. And you know, you ask for some service and the person doesn't even really want to come over to you. You know, they're asking themselves, what are you doing there? You know, it can look to a person like me as if we are psychopaths, that we are crazy somehow, because
And you know, like it's look, honestly, psychopathic. I'll tell you right now. You know, majority of this, I dropped the link here. If you want to hit the link, you know, what do you think about this topic? Feel free to hit it up, right? But let's see. Mola said, "Man, that slavery wife is common in Gambia." Exactly. They would marry some woman and just have her go sit and work for their mother. This is common. This is very common. Ask yourself, is that love? What is that based off of? But it's narcissism. And another thing that, you know, most Gambians, they would do this too. They would do it to you, right? If when you having conversation, many don't even know what to talk about. They would, first thing they would ask you, oh, hey, are you married yet? How many wives have you had? Oh, bro, you better be married. Last time I was talking to someone, he started saying that to me. And I thought about it. I was like, look, you know, sometimes, because you just try to go along and be like, nah, and just keep it pushing, right? But I was like, you know what? Let me push back on this guy here. I was like, dude, like, I'm curious, like, why are you guys so concerned about whether other people are married or not? Like, what is it to you? Because that's his way of trying to say to me, oh yeah, he's got 2 wives. Like, these are things that if a man, that's what he's striving for, have 2 wives, children, die, and you know, move on. If that's your life, more power to you. If that's what you're happy to do, if you believe that's what you're created to come and do on this earth, more power to you. You can do that. But when you walk around, you know, I'm just trying to point the mindset here. You're not asking me about business ideas. See, every Gambian male should be thinking about how you can make more money, businesses to create, because the country needs that. It's not more wives, more children. But this is where the mindset is. This is where it is. And if you look, me pointing it out, if you think it's a cool thing, don't be upset. Just, hey, more power to you. Okay? If you're proud of it, more power to you. I'm not here to criticize or not. I'm just calling out exactly what I'm seeing. And when people talk about being poor, poverty, they don't bring these 2 things together. You don't think about, you know, the responsibility. Why would you want to have a family, children, and base it off of begging other people? And then they would turn around those people. If those people don't do what they say, they will gossip about those people and say those people are wicked. These are terrible human beings, not even having the awareness that they are the terrible people, because you brought children into this world. So you are asking of me to do what you are not even willing and ambitious to do for those who you created. Just imagine that. You want me to have more energy, more affection, more caring towards your children that you produce. It's against nature. It's against the rule of nature. There are two things you cannot cheat: God and nature. You can try it. I hear even some people those, oh, I don't believe in God, whatever. Hey, you can say that all you want. You can also say you don't believe in gravity, but jump from above, jump from your balcony. You would find out if gravity exists or not. You cannot deceive nature. You cannot deceive nature. People producing children, thinking that just because I'm related to you, you want me to care and take care of your children more than you yourself are doing. You brought this child into this world. You don't want to take responsibility for your obligation. So if somebody comes, point this out, they'll be upset. Or they would say to you, you meet some, they would just voluntarily be like, oh yeah, volunteer advice to you. I had one person say to me, we were talking on the phone, and I was like, all right, cool, I gotta go. It's like, yeah, it's all good, feel free to call me, whenever, anytime, so I can give you advices. Like they would say things like this. And I'm like, huh. And I asked this person, I said, what what is your expertise like? What should I be calling you to seek advice on? And the person got upset. I know exactly what the mindset was. I know why this person feel the need that I should call them to get advice from them, because in their mind, they are older than me in age. They are older than me in age, but they have nothing to offer. So your credential is you are older in age. So therefore, I should call you and ask you for advice. Are you sure you want me to call you? Look, here's my thing. I've been around many of these people. And if I'm around a group of people, they are asking me too many questions, that means it's time to go. It means I have outgrown that group. I need to be around people that I would be asking them questions. If everything you're doing, they are asking you these questions and doubting you, trying to kill your dream, it's time to go. This is the problem with many. They see it, they observe it, and they know it, but because they have a plan to do it themselves, because they think it's the easy way out, but it's not the easy way out.
We open up a restaurant, and that is, I'm using restaurants as a for instance, but it can be anything. And when it comes to Jamaicans, we tend to act this way, and I cannot understand why. And I think MC Cham is actually going through a similar thing. He believes that it's totally unnecessary and it needs to stop. There's no logical reason for us to treat each other this way. So I can, to a certain degree, totally understand why he's saying.
And guys, I have I see Fatim Jabi have a lot to say. The link is in the comment section. Feel free to hit the link and join in and, tell us what you disagree with. Because what you're saying makes no sense. Saying, oh, your family and others are not exempt, so that should be a reason not to talk about it. That's like saying, don't talk about crackheads or crack dealers, because you might have family members who are crackheads or crack dealers. So now I have to all of a sudden support crack, because maybe I have a cousin who's a crack dealer, or a cousin or brother, whoever might be a crackhead. So I shouldn't talk about crack. Make that make sense, lady. And please, Fatima, hit the link. I'm here waiting. I'm not going anywhere. I got time. Hit the link.
in this. I really wanted to ask any of my Gambian subscribers or any of my Gambian viewers, guys, tell me, is he right? Is MC Cham right? Are the vast majority of Gambian people narcissistic? Are they focused on themselves? Do they care more about themselves than they do their own children? Have you experienced this? Do you think he's totally right? Do you think he's wrong? Guys, I would love to hear your opinion on this. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. It'd be really good to hear about that.
The negropian, he is correct. The man is right. Unfortunately. Look, I am not here blaming the people whatsoever. I'm just speaking about facts. I know that most of these people, if they knew better, they would do better. I know that. Okay? Plain and simple. So, here we go.
I've made a number of different videos about Gambians, and I haven't had anything negative to say about them. I've been to the Gambia myself, and I've seen some crazy things there. I'll be honest with you. I remember walking to Banjul. I was walking to Banjul from Zena, Gambia. Yeah, longest walk. And we was walking down the road, walked into Banjul. The first thing we saw when we walked into Banjul was a woman with a baby, and she runs up to this puddle with this baby and starts washing the baby in a puddle. And I mean a dirty, muddy puddle. Why? At first, I felt sorry for her, and then I thought, no, that's too much. It was too dramatic. She was doing that in order to look for money. I'm going to give you another experience.
So, guys, okay, the negropian, I'm glad he picked up on that. That's why I said white toubab, black toubab. So some of these people, they go there, they see things like that. Guys, I don't know about another Gambia. Yes, the place is poor, but it isn't that poor. I've never seen anyone, because they don't have water and go run to a puddle and wash their kid. No, they're doing that for the money. They saw you guys, the Westerners, the tourists. So you want to tell me that that is not disgusting? You want to tell me why would a human being bring another human being into the world to use them in that way as a baby to make children? In fact, when I was there, I saw beggars. Look, I'll tell you right now, I have never been a fan of beggars. This is the honest truth. I have never, ever since I was a child. I remember I lived in Sierra Leone, right? My father was a diamond businessman. They had their own office. So sometimes I used to go with him to that office. And on Fridays, you would see a bunch of these beggars. They would make up a line. And I remember I used to really, as a kid, I would look at them in disgust. Even though I was a kid, I was able to understand that this is not it. So when I went back there, not that long ago, a few months ago in Gambia, I saw a bunch of beggars. I even saw some who, they're there with their children. Some of them are blind. Like, okay, the man, I get it. Okay, you're blind. But his blindness did not stop him from having sex and producing all those children, and then bringing all those children with him on the road there to beg. The blindness, he was able to find the goalpost several times. So at what point do we say, okay, fine, all right, you're like, oh, I feel sorry for the man, he's blind. Okay, the blind man has been having time to find the goalpost, getting the woman pregnant back to back. His blindness didn't stop him from finding the spot. That's my whole point. He's out there with those children. They are begging. When does he have the time to lay the pipe? Meaning having sex. You guys now have to use code words here. When does he find the time? Look, if you're an adult, be honest with yourself. Many of you live the Western world. You go there. You see, like, a lot of this is people's own doing. but you want to pretend, oh, I feel sorry for them. But meanwhile, here in the West, you would see homeless people in this cold winter. You don't care. You're like, hey, you know, they shouldn't be homeless. They should go work. Some of these people, they are on drugs. You don't care that they are on drugs. At least they lost their mind. You don't feel sorry for them at all. You don't feel sorry for them. But now all of a sudden you got to Africa, Gambia. Now you got compassion. You don't think the people that you think you having compassion for should, have personal accountability. These people are destroying those children's life. That is, imagine that child. That child's not life is not going to be normal. That child, what that child is going to remember is, oh yeah, like my mother. That's the only thing mother used to wash me from, the puddles that are standing on the road. Just to make a living, just to get other people to feel sorry for me. That's deception. And a lot of those people, I don't think, sometimes I wonder if, because we have several other people that come from around the region who are super beggars. Because, like Guinea Conakry, there's a lot of Guinea Conakry people there. Guinea Conakry, I think they are the number one beggars in West Africa. They have the super duper beggars. So we have their beggars there too in our country, hands down. That doesn't mean I'm saying maybe it's just an African thing. Maybe it is. Maybe this is weird to MC because he's around mostly those people. He can't believe what he's seeing. But yeah, that's what it is. So I'm glad the negropian actually, he picked up on that. I thought he was going to be like, oh, they lack so much. But the negropian picked up that, no, this woman, in fact, was doing this for show. She was acting. It was an act. Disgusting though, but an act.
Another Gambian experience that I had. I went to a football match. It's the African Cup of Nations qualifier, Liberia versus Gambia. Didn't know the place. I didn't know anything about the Gambia at the time. It was my first time there. And so I asked one of the people that was working, one of the managers that was working at the Senegambia Hotel. Okay. I asked one of them, hey, do you mind coming with us, chaperoning us, just so we can, have somebody there that'll take care of us. And he's like, yeah, no problem. So we took us. We had to pay for everything. That's okay. I don't mind paying for his ticket. I don't mind paying for his taxi. I don't mind paying for everything. Okay. And he came with us. And we had a really good time. And during the match, he was like, hey, would you like to have dinner with my wife and my children and everything? And I was like, yeah, no, that'll be nice. That'll be really nice. So my partner then, we wanted to change our minds. We didn't really want to go, right? Because we didn't know this guy that well to go.
So, word of advice. So people coming from the Western world, right? So some of you lose your total common sense. This is why I'm not surprised usually. How many shows, especially those of us that live here in America, how many of these, travel issues have we seen on television here in America, online, where you have Americans going to quote unquote these third world countries, Dominican Republic, these islands and stuff, and they end up in body bags. Colombia. How many do we see? Because you leave America or the UK, all of a sudden common sense is no longer common to you. You don't, like, why are you following strangers to their home? If they want to have dinner with you, they can meet you in a public place, in a restaurant. You do not eat people's food you do not know. It's a no-no. See, when I was growing up in Gambia, I did not eat people's food I did not know. That's an etiquette. You don't do that. If your mother knows you did that, that's a beating. That's the fastest way for you to lose your life. Just FYI. That's the fastest way for you to lose your life. Oh, look, There's another culture too, like some Southeast Asians, right? Like Vietnamese and Cambodians. They have one thing in common with Gambian culture. If you go around these people, they would force feed you. You have to eat the food. You have to, but one thing, I understand the culture. When people say, "Oh, everyone eat," no. I was raised from a young child. My mother told me, "No, you do not eat people's food. You don't have to. We have to be friends for a while for me to even ever eat your food." Growing up, that's just straight up. If you are not my relative, I don't know you, I'm not eating your food. Because it if you read the history, they use the food to poison people. They use the food to do their spiritual charms. Like I was reading on Facebook one time, Gambian Facebook. This guy wrote, he was looking for help. This guy, he disguised himself. He found out, his wife, quote unquote, was doing some marabou stuff on him all along. He didn't know this, right? So they sent her some charm stuff, liquid stuff from the Gambia she needed to use. So this woman, that water, she had to use it to wash her private part and then take that water and put it in that dude's food. So apparently that's supposed to make him love her more. And the dude eventually found out. So he wrote that online. And this is a Gambian guy. He disguised himself, but he was very, very devastated to discover this. So just because the person is being all nice, no, eat. Look, me, if you're forcing me to eat, I become suspicious. I was around some Vietnamese people. Guys like offer me, "Oh man, you're not gonna eat." I was like, "No, I'm good." He came again, food. I said, now my antenna start. I'm like getting all suspicious. I was like, I had to tell him straight in a stern voice. I looked him in his face. I said, "Look, man, how many times do I have to tell you I am not hungry? If you offer me food one more time, we are going to have a problem. Do not disrespect me. Do not offer me food again." Plain and simple. So you meet a guy in the stadium. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna invite you to dinner with your wife. You don't know this place. Let's see if the negropian took this offer."
And so I approached him. I said, "Do you know what? We're going to need to cancel dinner tonight." And his eyes started bulging. He was like, "What? My wife has been working all day preparing the food for you. You have to come. You have to come." I said, okay, it's not a problem. We'll come. Right?
He used guilt to shame him, and he fell for it like a fool.
Mind you, my then partner was pregnant with our daughter. Okay, so she was pregnant at the time. So we had to be careful with what she was eating. We go to this guy's house. He lives in a village just outside in the suburbs somewhere. There was no light. There was no light in his house. There was no light in the entire village. And we sat down to eat, and he served food with his hands. I know that's normal, but it wasn't right and I could eat it, but for my partner who was pregnant, it wasn't good for her to eat.
Guys, this is super funny. So he said this man, they served the food with his hand. Okay. Most average Gambians, I'm just trying to help you guys here culturally. What this man is saying, most average Gambians, if you serve the food with your hand, what the hell? They're not gonna eat that. Even the village the man took him to, he probably staged that. Okay? So the man wants to portray poverty to the to the brink, like how poor he is. So what? Are you telling me this man did not have utensils like other Gambians, how they serve the food? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Is that what you are trying to tell me? So, oh yeah, he's so poor, he didn't have utensils. How did he cook the food? He cooked it with his hand. Like, did he have pots or what? Did the wife put her hand together over the fire and cook the food? That's how poor these people were. Come on. First of all, big mistake. You should watch what your wife gotta eat, right? That right there, you should have insisted and not go. Simple. And he served the food with his hand. Nah, player. Nah, I would have been like, nah, look, man, I'm good. I'm good. Come on now. Look, I get it. Like you want to play poor. But we were just at the stadium watching a game. People think about this. At a game. And also the guys got a job. Right? So don't leave your common sense behind. Put two and two together. Oh, you got people coming to, oh man, you gotta give me a bag of rice. I wouldn't eat. I'm like, how were you eating before you met me? You just met me right now. How were you eating before you met me? But like I said, most of the Westerners want to feel good. They want to feel like, oh man, I'm rescuing some Africans. Look, in life, whatever you seek, you shall find. Most of you, you're leaving, you're saying, I'm going there to save the Africans. Oh, yeah, you will find people who you are supposed to save. They know you are coming. They are waiting, serving you with food in their hand. What kind of stuff is that? I mean, that's craziness, man.
Eat that food like that, have it served that way. It wasn't hygienic, and she could have easily have gotten ill from that anyway. So anyway, my wife eats the food, and she gets ill. It was bound to happen. She gets ill. So that's one thing. But I'm going to tell you the craziest.
Did you guys hear this? So the negropian just told us him and his wife ate the food that this dude he doesn't know served in his hand. And then the wife gets sick. Oh, go figure. Go figure. Look, I have ate in community bowls. Okay? We eat together. That does happen. But eating etiquette, when you're eating with your hand, you have to know you have a lane. You have a lane where you stay in. It used to, some of these people, they would be like adults, eating etiquette, you cannot reach in the middle and touch any meat whatsoever. I'm talking, even the food eating distribution is all oppressive. We used to eat with this one guy. He would come over, like something in this African family. You got this guy, you would say, call him uncle, but he's just been around the family for so long. You don't even know how you're related, but he's your uncle somehow. So this guy, every Friday now and again, he would come, and when we're eating, he wants to implement his own rules that you cannot reach in the middle of the food, meaning to get some chicken, fish, whatsoever. So he's done it a few times, and I told my brothers, I said, I planned it. I said, I'm going to challenge him. I said, I'm going to put a stop to this. So I waited one Friday. One Friday, the lunch that day, man, that was my favorite. They call it fonio. Fonio, they cooked some really nice goat meat. And I was looking forward to enjoy this without him, and he was going to ruin it. So as soon as I come from Friday prayer, I waited outside our gate for him because he comes back. He was like, Is lunch ready? I was like, man, I don't know what happened today, but I think lunch is, man, maybe around 4. That's when the lunch would be done. He's like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go out, come back. I went in, few minutes, the lunch was getting, they were putting the lunch in the plates, distributing it. So this fool, he's already at the gate. Instead of entering to confirm, to make sure that this kid, he already confirmed that I'm like his little enemy because he said I'm a witch, right? He should have came in and confirmed. The fool left. Man, we conquered that. And he came by as he's coming, and he goes by, and my mom asked my mom, he's like, oh, it's lunchtime. My mom's like, oh, you guys ate a while ago. It's like, man, he said to me, I thought you said lunch wasn't gonna be done. I said, that's what I thought too, but I guess it was over. So as a kid, you have to come up with these plans to outsmart these African tyrants. That's what I've learned since I was a kid. I know that I cannot challenge the guy. He's going to win because simply he's an adult and he's called uncle. So he was going to win. So I had to outmaneuver him. And I've outmaneuvered many adults this way. Let's let him keep going.
Part about this story. So anyway, he starts going into this spiel about, oh, yeah, I've got to work because I need to pay for the kids because all the kids are sick. And he's turned around to his kid and knocked his kid, and his kid started coughing on command. It was, oh my goodness, I could not.
Guys, you think the negropian is lying? He is not lying. He is experienced this. See, I think the negropian is just, he wants people to talk about this because there's no way he believes something was, what MC was saying was wrong. The negropian knew something isn't right, but he couldn't put his finger on it. So that's why when he saw that post, he jumped on it. So the guy he met at the stadium, right? The guy brought him to his house. So he cooked him a meal that he served him with his hand. So now he's saying his kid is sick. I don't know, maybe he hired those kids. So on command, the kids are coughing. Guys, come on. Don't you guys think that's a scam, right? I don't know if I would call it a scam. That's an acting job. Great acting job. MC Cham mentioned the acting in his post. Didn't he? And here is the negropian himself, without even admitting to it, but here's the negropian confirming that, in fact, he himself have witnessed these acting jobs. Look, the beauty is, once you know it, you have fun with it. You have fun with it. Don't go there, trying to pretend like you're saving the people. Oh, coming back saying, oh man, the Gambian culture is so great. The people they're so nice. They serve me food with their hand. They have utensils. That's how they serve the food. Most Gambians, I can assure you, they are not going to eat your food if they see you serving them with your hand. Like, they're not gonna do it. So this guy went all the way for you, all the way. And now the kids are sick, right? He is claiming he can't afford to take them to the doctor, but he had enough money to make food not just for the kids and his wife. He even brought you and your wife in. Come on, guys, you can't be this naive. He brought you in. That plate is not for free, and you weren't even served with a utensil. Come on, guys, don't fall for this.
I believe he just did that. His kid started coughing on command. Yeah, I'm ill. So we ended up giving him money, and we realized that we hadn't been scammed, but it was all a ploy to get money from us. you know, I just felt so sad that we have people living in a situation like that in the Gambia. But this is a manager at one of the biggest hotels there in the Gambia, right? The Senegambia Hotel. If you know the Gambia, you know Senegambia Hotel. It's not a grand hotel, but it's one of the major tourist hotels there in the Gambia. So this guy should be earning a reasonable amount.
The negropian, he played you. He played you. You are right on point. Come on. If he's the manager of that hotel, let's just keep it real. I don't care. They can try to say, oh, less salary. If he's making that however much there, and he's quote unquote living that poor, then he deserves it. That's what MC is explaining, because what is he spending the money on? Oh, he brought kids in he cannot afford. That's the picture he's painting. But I highly doubt that's his situation. And if he says he's not making a lot of money at his job, maybe he should find another job. That's how we do it. You in the West, that's how you live your life. There are people in the Gambia there themselves. That's how they live their lives. Guys, don't buy into this thing that people, oh no man, they can make it. All the people are destitute. No, not true. I've met many people there. They've never left. That's where they work. They have big houses, living their lives. If he's the hotel manager, at least that's a step up. So the negropian, his experience, he met a lot of actors, and he met the actress, on the street. So a lot of the people you're going to meet, they are going to be actors and actresses. But that's what you're looking for, because you want the African experience. They know you have this mindset. You've created a picture, so they are giving you that picture.
I just find it so super weird that this guy would bring me in to do this. Really, when I saw him every single day, he was always wearing a suit and a shirt and everything else. Civilized clothing. That type of thing doesn't happen everywhere. I'm being honest with you here. That what happened there doesn't happen everywhere. I just find it so demeaning, pathetic in a way. I don't quite know what else to say, guys. I'm going to invite MC Cham on for an interview, because I really want him to elaborate a little more, because I think to say that the majority of Gambians are this way when you don't know the majority of Gambians, I think it's a pretty tough thing to say. But I think it's coming from a place of logic. I think he's not just saying it for views or anything else.
Look, the negropian is in denial. He knows MC is telling the truth. He's afraid to admit it. Negropian, what else do you need? You gave us your own experience. You confirmed what you've seen. You've met two actors. You've met an actress and an actor. Even though you pretended to fall for it, but you knew they were actors. So what else? What other information do you need? Like literally, what other information do you need? You got everything you need here, sir. You have it all. Based in what MC wrote, your own experience, But that's not everyone. I'm sure there are people you've walked by, they were not even aware of your presence there. There are some, they are so narcissistic, they're not gonna even acknowledge you. They're only gonna acknowledge the people they know and their family members. That's all. So it's not like all are gonna be actors, but there are plenty of actors, especially in that hotel area. That's for sure. MC Cham said, people act like I haven't met a lot of Gambians in the West too. Some of these people think Gambians are only in the Gambia. Well said. MC, you're absolutely correct. There are some people who act that way. I've seen someone that wrote, what is this Toubab MC talking about? So that's their way of implying that. No, in fact, since you are from the UK, in fact, you're not around Gambians. when in fact the UK has plenty of Gambians, a lot of them. So they have no clue. There's a lot of them over there.
Like that, because he hasn't made a video about this. He's saying these types of things because he truly believes it, because it is likely he has experienced that. Perhaps not so in his own personal life, but he sees it. Okay. And I'd really like to hear, if you've been to the Gambia, I'd like to hear your experiences, and I'd also like to hear whether you agree with MC Cham. Let me know in the comment section below. So guys, that's
Yeah, he said nothing but doom and gloom. I'm sure some are gonna say that about this show here today, but I wanted to touch on it because it's good to have the Gambian expert, which is me, to throw my 2 cents on this. But overall, even though the acting is there, it's about the good, the bad, and the ugly, to be honest. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Yes, are you going to run into this? Of course. But use your common sense. And is MC wrong? No. He's giving his experience. But once you understand, you see, the hardest thing is to know people. Now, I would say the hardest is to know yourself. Once you know yourself, you'll be able to know other people. I have a caller here. Let me. Oh,
Hey.
it's the man himself, MC Cham. Welcome to the show, MC.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm doing well. MC, did you hear my take on your post here? And
Yeah,
what
yeah.
European. So, MC Cham, do you hate Gambians?
No. Actually, to be honest, when it comes to the term hate, I don't hate anybody.
I believe
But
so.
yeah,
Yes.
I don't. But obviously, I said what I said about Gambians. But obviously, and people with common sense know this, yourself included, that I don't mean every single individual in the entire world. I mean a significant amount. That's why I use the phrases a lot of them, and I also use damn near all. And people are gonna run away with the term all because it's in there. But I said the phrase damn near, so that is just me emphasizing that it's a significant amount. But there's a saying, if the shoe fits, wear it. You've heard of that phrase, if the shoe
Right,
fits, wear it.
right.
Yeah, so some people are right. Someone literally said in the comments, you might as well say all. And
So,
they're putting it in
MC,
numbers.
the gossip thing with the women, you've observed, like,
Yeah, observe. Yeah.
so the gossiping thing, you know, um, man, how did you find out about this?
Because I've seen it.
You're very correct, though.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like the women, to be honest, even some of the men, a lot of the men,
Yeah.
some of them are actually simps.
Oh, a lot of them are simps.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
simps.
Not every single one, for those of you
Yes,
that
yeah.
might
Make
be.
sure you give that qualifier.
Oh yeah,
Not
we always
not
have to
all,
do
but
that.
most. Not all,
Yeah.
not all, but most.
Not all, but most. It's like also let me clarify one more thing. If I was talking about every single Gambian on the entire planet, as people are assuming, then I would be talking about you, Afridamus. Isn't
This
that
is
true?
correct, and you
Yeah.
would even be talking about yourself from that point.
Exactly.
But for
Exactly.
a person to have the common sense, the hardest thing to do to achieve is self-awareness. To be able to be aware of your own situation and your condition and accept it for what it is and change it. You evolve. But many people from that place, do you think they are willing to even change?
Nope. Listen, like I said, then a significant amount of them, a lot of them are narcissists. And remember, right? When it comes to a narcissist will never change, Afridamus. Narcissists will always be narcissists. There's zero chance of them changing. So yeah. And by the way, quick clarification about my comment about the whole, they should never reproduce. Again, not all.
Yes,
not
yes,
every
yes.
single-
Yeah.
Let me clarify.
Can you clarify that? What
So,
in
one
your
thing about
why do you think they should not reproduce?
Well, I
Us.
want to clarify that I'm talking about the toxic ones, because remember in my post I did say like the toxic mindset, right? So
Mhm.
obviously I'm referring to them. So obviously, not every single Gambian has a toxic mindset, but a lot of them do. So I'm saying that the ones with the toxic mindsets, in my opinion, should never reproduce. But also, regardless of ethnicity or whatever, I just think people with toxic mindsets in general shouldn't reproduce. That's just how I personally feel. Whether people may agree or disagree.
So MC, is there something that triggered you to write that post?
Is there something that triggered me? Just
Yes.
my experience with Gambians. You know, I reached my
like what brought you to the point where you're like, you know what, I've had it. You know what, I'm just gonna post this on my community post. You know, because this looks like it's like bottled up to a point you have to let it out.
Okay, so
like
yeah. Well, I mean, you saw the things that I posted. Like,
right.
you know, I've just been experiencing them as of late, and I was like, you know what, I've reached my boiling point. I was like, you know what, let me speak my mind on my community section, and just, you know, let it out, because I've had enough. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, the things that I said, I've been experiencing it for years, and you know, it's a build up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a build up. It just keeps on happening. I'm like, you know what, let me post this, because, you know, I've had enough. So yeah, I was definitely pissed. I had enough, you know.
Yeah. So what about some of these? I saw you going back and forth with Fatima, you know, and who else? Let me see here. You were going at it with somebody else too.
Yeah. I forgot what was the name.
That's born to be free. I see that, born to be free. So they're disagreeing with you, you know, and stuff. But they're not really giving, you know, any concrete,
like I said,
you know, viewpoint. You know, it's I'm glad like you are, you know, you've actually highlighted this, because there are many who are in denial about this.
Yeah,
you know,
even those
it's like that, you know, the gossipy, hypocrisy, and cackling culture is very much promoted.
Yeah,
you know, not that long ago, I was like talking to this Gambian lady on Facebook, and you know, to me, the narcissist she is, whatever, she told me, like, oh, like she's doing me a favor. I'm just giving you time. I was like, excuse me. I was like, excuse me.
Wow.
You know, like
she's doing you a favor. How so?
Right. No, it's just weird. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I change this, because people might think I am the white tubab. Let me change.
Oh, I just noticed that.
Let me hold on. Oh, yes. Thank you.
That is hilarious. I didn't even pick up on that. I did not pick up on that.
Yes, I want to make sure, you know, because it was right on there. People might think,
yeah, they'll take it out of context and
say, they might Afridamus is the white tubab. So for those of you that will be coming to watch, that wasn't, I'm not the white tubab. Nothing is tubab about me.
Yeah.
So MC Cham.
Yeah.
So, you know, like there are going to some of Gambians, many, even when they see this, they're going to be upset. They're going to gaslight you and stuff.
They already do.
Yeah, because Fatima's job is doing a great job here. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that, you know, she's doing that. Would you say for the most part, you know, what percentage would you say genuinely nice?
I don't do percentages, man, and that
that's difficult. Yeah,
it's because I can't put a number on it, and it's funny you mentioned. I'm glad you brought that up, because one of them was bringing up basically just pulling numbers, quote unquote, out of their ass, like, you know, saying 85%, and I'm like, that is your interpretation. Do you see what I'm saying? So, you know, when I said a significant amount, you want to say 85%. I'm like, that's your interpretation, but she's in denial, saying that, hey, your choice of words. I didn't bring up Afridamus.
But see,
I bring
like
up numbers?
no. See, most people in the West want to go by numbers. Like for me, right?
Yeah,
I'm well aware that there are people that are there this way, and also, you know, it's just like anywhere. But I can still navigate in that society because that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
So I know, you know, I know how to pick up on clues. I know, you know,
And behaviors,
yeah, behaviors. So I
signs.
think, yeah, I think that helps me get
Mm-hmm.
around. And I also understand the Gambian humor, how to, if they saying they playing, I can also play along.
Do
You
you
see?
notice that they say, you know, in our culture, everything starts with whenever they do something toxic, is always, whether it's lying about you or just anything toxic, is always in our culture. You know what I
Right.
mean? Oh,
Yes, you're correct about. I think I noticed that more in the West. They do that with, you know, you black Westerners, like their second generation children.
mm-hmm.
I have noticed that they would gaslight you guys with in our culture.
Yeah, like
And
to
and I
justify it.
think they learned this from the Nigerians. The
Interesting.
Nigerians are, yes, the Nigerians like to emphasize in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to remember that a lot of these things is the Nigerians that taught the Gambians
So
this.
like an influence kind of thing. Is
Yes,
that
in the West. Yes,
all right. That's very
yes.
interesting.
Because you
Wow.
know, you know this. I'm sure you've seen many. They watch the Nollywood movie. The women. You've seen them, right?
Unfortunately, I don't. I refuse to watch like Nollywoods because
No,
when
no,
I
no,
see them,
no. I know, but you see it. So,
yeah.
so the Nollywood movie, you learn a lot from there. You're missing out, but Nollywood movie teach you a lot around that region. So you
Okay, so
want when you watch it, you notice these women, they are all watching that, right?
uh-huh.
So you will be, it would help you study their behavior. Because see,
Mhm.
women generally, even in America,
Yeah.
most women, they take what they are watching on screen as reality. Because the TV movie is like their fantasy.
I've
They,
noticed they watch a lot of quote unquote reality TV, quote
yeah,
unquote.
but it's not real, you know.
Yeah,
This
the
here,
irony.
this here, what I'm doing here, this is what is real. That's why
Uh-huh.
many will not be able to swallow it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hmm.
it's even here in America, right?
Yeah.
Like even the white women, many, they have a script they've written. They just reserve your spot for you. So
Uh-huh.
now it's up to you to be aware whether to fit that script or not. The
Mm-hmm.
Gambian women, they have their script as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they have their script. And I'm telling you where they're getting most of their cues from. Nollywood.
Wait, did you
Nollywood.
say
Go
kills or cues?
the cues.
Oh, okay.
Nollywood and love and hip hop.
All right.
Atlanta.
So that's where the influence is from. That they.
Yes, the ones in, yeah, love and hip hop.
No, I
Yes.
get what you're saying.
Yeah,
That's why I don't watch TikTok.
because I've gone around them. I've seen what they watch. Nothing educational.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the more entertaining, the more hood, the more ghetto, the more they into it.
Yeah.
The longer their weave is, the more they into it. You see? So I've observed it. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. You know, they like the ones I've seen, they love and hip hop Atlanta version because it's, you know, Atlanta women, you know, deep down in many Gambian women, there's a Atlanta ghetto woman trapped in them.
Yeah, the degeneracy. I
Yes,
understand. Yeah, no, I
yes,
get what you're saying. So,
yes, yes. So that's why they love and hip hop Atlanta
Mhm.
style, the
can I ask?
ratchet one.
Can I ask you something?
I have videos. You know what? I'm gonna be highlighting videos here, and it's going to blow people's mind. They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like, Afridamus, how did you get this? People send me stuff on, there's an entire series they sent me. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a love and hip hop Gambian version. And they did this in
There's a
Atlanta
Gambian
too.
version.
Oh, look, they
What?
might it's not staged. This is their beef. Some
Wow.
big booty girl versus some loser Gambian rapper. You know, that's a love and hip hop because, you know, like all the washed up rappers end up on love and hip hop, you know. So
No.
it's the same thing. It's the same
Mm.
thing.
Wow.
So yeah, it's the
Wow.
same
Wow.
thing.
Wow. A love
Yeah.
and hip hop Gambian version. I mean, I can't say I would be surprised, but I'm surprised and I'm not. Like, because I've never heard of one. But wow. Yeah.
No. I'm the one calling it that.
Oh.
No, no, I'm the one calling it that because if when you see these videos, you will be like, Afridamus, you are 100% correct. And these people in these videos, they are more. Do you know who K Michelle is?
K Michelle, no.
This is a K Michelle. She was on Love and Hip Hop,
Oh, okay.
Atlanta version. This woman is super ratchet, right?
I'm not
There's
surprised.
super ratchet women on that show.
Mhm.
I can assure you, this Gambian woman, so some of them, I'm telling you, they would put those K Michelle and others to shame. That's how ratchet they are. No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So I don't know, if people are so proud of these things, why are they upset when I talk about it or other people talk about it?
Because people can't handle the truth. And also, the people that get mad, a lot of them, not all, not all, not all, not all, not all, not all, for those of you that are watching, a lot of them, are triggered because, like I said, if the shoe fits, wear it.
But
like
MC,
they think it
do you
applies to them.
think also, since so many Gambians are good at acting, don't you think they should be encouraged to channel their inner acting and actually make money off of? I mean, come on.
No, that's a good. That
Huh?
would be genius. It would be genius. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like,
Yeah.
they should definitely, it's like they're good at acting, so why not, profit from it, like by participating in the Real Housewives and all that. Why not? So I get where you're coming from. So you got a point.
Yeah. But MC, thank you so much for coming in. Standing, your position, your ground.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say it, Alfred.
Are you surprised by some of the comments in the comment section? Like
Can I be
the
frank?
guy that was telling me I should be ashamed and stuff like that.
No, I'm not. But I'm not surprised. Like, a lot of them will say that. They'll try to gaslight you. They love to gaslight. A lot of Gambians love to gaslight. If you're telling the truth, I think that guy was defensive. Because what I was saying, what you're saying, it's all true. So that it goes back to what I was saying about gaslighting you, saying how dare you. Basically, the translation is how dare you tell the truth. How dare you? You can't say this about Gambians. The world should not know about this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's like, standing naked and pretending that you have clothes on. Are you surprised that the negropian, I shouldn't even use the word surprise, but even he himself is confirming what you're saying in his experience? Because I mean, the lady he spoke about, he noticed she's clearly acting, bringing the child and washing the child in the
Right.
like
So
in
it
the
goes back to
street.
what I was
Come on,
saying.
that's not even a thing.
So it goes back to what. So I guess this kind of relate to what I said about like, don't have children that you can't afford. No, like,
That's logic. That's common
yeah, it's
sense.
logical. Like, why are you gonna have children that you can't afford? I'm not,
So
again, this doesn't apply to all Gambians, but again, a significant amount. Damn near. Key phrase, damn near. A lot of people ignore the phrase damn near. But what, go on. What were you gonna say?
well, it's all okay. So MC, do you plan on visiting Gambia anytime soon?
Good question. Not. I wouldn't say soon. One day, but I'll only go there because of the weather. Only because of the weather, and to get super super dark as well. But that's just me, But go on.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. You can visit anytime, but at the end of the day, only the truth shall set us all free.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like these sort of topics would start opening people's minds, to
But
the
is it going to set the
reality.
narcissist free? Is it going to set the narcissistic Gambians free though? Like, are they? Do you think they're going to change?
I'm hopeful.
You're hopeful. Hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to be hopeful.
Like I give them the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Alright.
give them the benefit of the doubt because like change is one of those things where, like, as long as your life is inevitable, once you see something and you keep seeing it, once it clicks, for some they'll probably find out, but it might be too late. It will be time for them to get buried. But hey,
Yeah, but all I'm gonna say to that is, it's nice to be hopeful, but I would say don't hold your breath, my guy. If
no,
like I said,
I'm not gonna do that because
yeah,
I
yeah,
might pass on. But
yeah,
but it's been beautiful. So MC, before I let you go, I
yeah.
want to pick your brain on something here. So do you think that black people are superior to everybody else?
No, I want to clarify, because the negropian, or ton Africa, whatever you want to call him, mentioned that,
Black
who's MC
Tubab.
Cham, that, yeah, yeah, as you call him, the Black Tubab. Yeah, he mentioned in the video that, like, in terms of who is MC Cham, that I see my race as superior. That is not true. On my channel, I never promote superiority, that one race is superior, because then that would make me racist. No, I just, I'm just about giving black people accurate, exclusive representation.
So MC, I'm
That's
gonna
it.
do the show about because since this work of Moroccans' identity have come into question.
Yeah.
So do you consider Moroccans Africans?
Do I consider Moroccans Africans? Well, here's my take. My take is this: it depends on the context. If we're talking about,
No, I'm not talking
geographically,
yeah.
if you're
Do
talking
you
racially African, black, no, they're not. I know a certain individual by the name of what's his name? Two Niger. No, not Two Niger, not Two Niger. Excuse me. What was that other guy? Was it Jude?
yeah.
Yeah, he said that they're black.
Would you what about Horners? Are they Africans? Like, would you say they are black?
Again, racially, right?
Yeah, like would you say they are black? The Horners?
Racial, nah. A significant amount of them are not. They look racially ambiguous.
So questionable. Well, that would be I'm gonna bring the topic on that again because there's been a lot of
do you see them as black? Like a significant amount of them?
well, I will bring the topic here and I would want to hear from them too, and hopefully we get the Moroccans. But it's been a pleasure talking to you, MC Cham.
You too. One more question before I go. Do you see the Moroccans as black?
No, I do not.
Okay, cool. But yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you too, man. Thank you for allowing me.
Wait. Before you go, so I wanted to ask you this for a while. Since I have you here, I might as well just ask you.
Oh boy.
So MC Cham, okay. So would you say is what's his name? Is Will Smith black?
Oh, I see what you're doing, Afridamus.
I'll let you go.
No, okay. I'm not afraid. No. In the same way that Meghan Markle, Rashida Jones, who else? Mariah Carey, those are not white people, and white people wouldn't accept them as white. So why is it that on the other side of the spectrum that I should accept people like Ice Cube, Will Smith, Charles Barkley? Why should I accept them, as black people? At the end of the day, black people have dark skin, dark brown eyes, Afro-textured hair, and are unambiguous. From the Viola Davises to the Michael Jordans to the Akons, these are black people. I'm not afraid to say it. I know I'm live, but I'm not afraid to say that.
Well, I'm gonna bring you in for this topic, but well said, MC Cham. Thank you.
You're having the time of your life, my guy. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Enjoy. Bye.
Bye.
Guys, that was MC Cham. You guys see, this is how conversations are done. The topic is about him, his post, despite, some people, getting all upset, even though they know it's true. Even Fatim Jab here knows MC is correct. She's just trying to defend the indefensible. But instead of people wasting their time trying to defend the indefensible, how about people do better? I truly believe that if they can do better, they will do better. People have to be open to doing better. Hard work have to be pushed. Begging cannot help. That's just my point. I'm right there with MC. If you can't afford children, do not bring them in, because you're just creating a disadvantage for them. That's just what it is. You want to have 10 kids? Do you have a farm for them to work in? Because back in the days, that's why people used to have a bunch of kids. But you can produce these kids and teach them how to beg. Oh, you want your kid to take care of you. Put your kid in a better position. Invest in them. At least give them the advantage. So when they win, they can think about helping you. Because you see, if you're good to your kid, you will be the first person they would think about. Just a food of, word to the wise. Okay? So I'm gonna let you guys go. Please, if you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. And I have very interesting topics that I'm going to be bringing. I have a video about the history of ancient Africa, which I'm going to be posting. It's an interview with a great mind, a great spiritual South. This is a South African guy. When I say great, I'm not speaking in terms of praising the guy, but his knowledge is vast. And this video is from years ago. So I'm going to share that with you here on the channel so that you can learn from it. Until next time, I'm your host, Afridamus. I will see you guys, and I'm out. Peace.